Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I have just come back from a holiday. I'm refreshed. I feel like I'm buzzing with ideas. I've got so much to say and I just feel really good. So I've decided to implement some sort of chit chat on my channel where I am kind of helping other hairdressers and also talking to clients and etc. I do get quite a few questions, and sometimes I feel like the comment box is really not the place to discuss those kind of things. I do feel like I am rubbish at actually getting back to people all the time, because sometimes I don't receive the messages in time and I can be answering anything from a month later to sometimes a year later, and it's not acceptable. So I have looked at some of the comments that I've had, and it gave me an idea of having some sort of chit chat sessions where I can discuss all things hairdressing and tackle those kind of questions that have come, and I will kind of divide it from consumer to other hairdressers and see if that helps. And so today's video is going to talk about 5 ways to become a better hairstylist slash hairdresser. Number one is patience. And the reason why I say patience is because I'm generally a very patient person. Once I know what I want, I tend to feel like it doesn't matter if I get there in 10 years, it doesn't matter if I get there in 15 years. I have the patience to know that at the end of the day I'm going to get there. And it might mean that I have to go through this and this. And what I've learned is, even through having certain assistants at work, is that people of today are not patient. They want things now, they want it yesterday, they want it 5 years ago. They don't really want to work for it, they kind of just want to have it now. They see what people have and they just want to do it now. And you have to be patient. You have to be patient. Tip number 2 is you have to be willing to learn. I find that people know what they want, they know how to get it, but sometimes they are their own enemy and are not willing to learn. They're not willing to be open. They're kind of only willing to be open to a certain extent, and you have to be willing to be open to everything. So I would say be willing to learn. And one of the best examples I have is one of my friends, Alison, who lives in Canada, who's a hairdresser in Canada. I met her last year. She sent me an email, I think 8 months prior to that, so way back, and she just sent me an email saying, hi, I've seen your work on Instagram and online, and I live in Canada and I just wanted to come to the UK and shadow you. And I could have fainted at that particular point, because I was like, someone in Canada wants to come and shadow me, and it was amazing. But the point of this story is that she was willing to learn. She travelled throughout the US, so she did Atlanta, Washington, I think 2 other cities, New York as well, and then she came to Paris and then London for a month, and that's where she ended her journey, and then she went back to Canada. And now Alison is one of my, one of my friends, and I can see us being friends for a very long time, if not ever. And I just felt like she really inspired me, because she was someone who was willing to basically give up her clientele for 6 months, take that time to become a better hairdresser, and to be willing to learn from all kinds of different hairdressers so that she can better herself. So you have to be willing to learn. You have to be open to everything. Don't limit yourself. Don't think that you are better than anything, because in that particular environment you can learn something that you are not even ready for. So be willing to learn, whether it's in a yardie salon, whether it's in the most ghetto place, whether it's in the most pristine place. Be willing to learn. Trust me, you'll be so surprised where you can pick up tips and tricks. One of the other tips that I have for you guys is try to rejuvenate your skills. And the reason why I say that is because as you guys know, I'm on YouTube, and I now feel like I have certain types of clients. I've got clients that come in and they want the pixie cut, or they want the midi bob, or they want a weave. And when you keep on doing that, It's great, it's fantastic, it gets people in the shop, but then what happens after? So after that, people get tired and they want a new hairstyle, and they get shorter and shorter or longer and longer. And what happens is that people come in, and if they have like a growing out style, they ask you, what can I do that's different to my style? I want to keep elements of my hairstyle, but I'm getting really bored. Summertime's coming, I want to implement colour, I want to do this, I want to do that. Now, not that I was getting stuck, but you get to a certain point sometimes where it's kind of like, because you're in the same environment all the time, you don't have any kind of creative buzz. So what I did, and this was like a very impromptu decision, I went to the professional, God, I can't remember what it's called. I went to an event, a professionals hairdressing event, just before, I think, before going on holiday. So either in April, everything kind of feels like a blur, but around that time. And I booked for a Hob Salon 2-day cut and colour course, advanced cutting and colouring course. And what I learned in that course has absolutely rejuvenated. I feel so rejuvenated. I came, and now you know, I took the course last week, and it's not a basic course, it's quite an advanced course, and it's really just teaching you how to take different elements of a hairstyle and giving you tips and new tricks of how to get around certain things. People that have pixie cuts who want it shorter, or they just want something a little bit more edgy, just how to get around it using some of the fundamental basic cutting elements of it, but also implementing it into a new funky way and taking it that much step further. It was amazing, and when I came back, I felt buzzed. I felt like I could teach the people in the salon what I've learned. It you know, I have my own unique way of cutting that, even though I do implement the basic cutting techniques, I'm in my own zone. And I always say to people, don't watch how I cut, because how I cut is how I cut, and I know how to get a perfect cut, but you won't like how I get there. So I really just wanted to kind of regain some of that back. And so I always say to people, always be willing to learn again and rejuvenate your skills. Number 4 is be humble. And I say be humble because I recognize that sometimes as hairstylists we go through different steps. So when I first came to the salon, I've already explained this, I was, looking back, I would say I was a little bit up myself. Not because I felt I was the ish, but because I felt like I was above certain things. Like I just didn't feel like I would be the person to sweep the floor and make coffee, and I just felt I was above that, you know? Like, why am I doing that? Why? And I just want people to come in and be humble. And like I said, we've got different assistants that have come in at work, and they're like 16, 17, 18, 19, and a lot of them come with this big chip on their shoulder. They kind of feel like, no, I don't want to do that. And you just have to be humble, like completely start from scratch. Don't complain about things, because it's all part of the experience. Even though it might seem like, what the hell, it is all part of the experience. There's nothing that you go through that won't help you as a stylist. And I really didn't understand that until maybe 2-3 years ago. At first, I told you I didn't like people at the salon, because I felt like, well, we're not necessarily the same age, but we're the same age group. You know, if we had to tick a box, we will all belong in that group. So why are you telling me to put towels in the washing machine when you can do it yourself? No, I don't want to do that. And I've learned that whole humble experience made me a better stylist, because it helped me deal with difficult clients. It's helped me deal with people in general. It's helped me basically not think I'm bigger than I am. Like, I literally can now go back, if there's not an assistant, and do all the work myself without feeling like, where's my assistant? You know what I mean? It's just, be humble, cherish what you have, and just know that the skill that you have is a good skill, but you're not the only one with that skill. And you know, just work and be happy about it. So do everything with love. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. If nothing I've said to you has stuck, is everything that I do when it comes to hair is with love. I love my job. I love everything about it. I love the people that I work with. I'm a determined person. No one in this world can tell me anything about not being able to achieve anything. I believe in myself 100%. I believe in myself 1000%. No one can ever tell me that I'm not a good hairdresser. But it doesn't mean that I am above you. I'm just a human being, just like you. I just happen to be really good at doing hair, and that's it. I don't think anything of myself. I don't go around thinking I'm Andre Marie. In fact, I get really reverted and a little bit shy when I get recognised by people. I just want you, anyone that's doing hair, if you're doing it, do it with love. Do it with love and you will get money. That's it. If you do something with love, I believe you will get paid for with love, and you will get people coming back, which will give you money anyway, and different opportunities will come for you. So, you know, cheating people out of things, trying to overcharge people when you know you don't really need to, you don't need to do that. Sometimes you just, if you do something with love and it shows and people can see that you did that haircut and you did that haircut. Yes, you got paid for it, but you did that haircut with love. People will come back. Why? Because they know that you generally love doing your job. You're not just doing it because, you know, you didn't really make it as a social worker, so you thought, I'm really good at hair, so I'll do that. Do everything you do with love. Whether it's hairdressing, whether it's beauty, whatever it is, do it with love. And when you start seeing that it's not done with love, check yourself. And so one other tip is learn the basics. And the reason why I say that is because it kind of ties in with my other tip about patience. And the reason why I say learn the basics is because without the basics, you have nothing. So if you learn the basics, then there's nothing that you can't tackle as a hairdresser. If you skip steps, then that's where you're going to have the problem. I spent at least, I would say, 3 years learning the basics, going back over the basics, and even till this day, even though I'm a senior stylist, I still very much base everything off of the fact that I've learned from the basics. So learn the basics, master the basics, whether it's basic cutting, all the fundamental stuff. The basics are what you will need to succeed in anything, and once you learn those basics, or you can build on your skills from that. So I'm not going to repeat it again, but you get the drift. Hairdressing is a broad field. I mean, there's so many different parts of hairdressing. You can be a teacher, you can be a mentor. There are so many different types of hairdressers you can be. You can be a session stylist, you can work on films. It doesn't matter, but you can do so many different things. And what the last tip I have for you guys, which doesn't really necessarily to be something that you fall into, but learn your niche and be really great at it, or work on being great at it. And personally, me, I feel like cutting and weaving are my niches, and that's what I like to build myself on. I like to work on those a lot. I like to and that goes both for wigs and weaving. I like to really make sure that when it comes to those two, that I make sure I put my everything into it. Not that I don't in everything else, but I make sure that my cuts on my wigs, my cuts on my weaves, my cuts, my general cuts on pixie cuts and stuff are to the best of my ability at the time, and I try to build on that as the years go on. So I really want to find your niche and build on it. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I will be making more, and I'll find a better name than Chit Chat. So guys, help me find a better name than just Chit Chat. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.